folks, welcome to Poke Checking Cards. This is an introduction video. This is going to be for you to know what to expect on this channel, to see why I started this channel, and to kind of see where I came from and where I'm collecting right now, where my passions are at. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that you need to stick with your passions in collecting and maybe not collect everything that's going to be valuable one day necessarily, but also what your heart is telling you you enjoy collecting the most. And if there's anything that I enjoy collecting the most, and that's goaltender cards. And that comes from a very, very young age when my dad introduced me to starting lineup figurines and then hockey cards. I've always had a passion for hockey, even when I wasn't collecting it. I stopped collecting hockey when I was 10, when I found out about the Mariners, thanks to my grandpa. But I always watched the All-Star games. I always paid attention to the goaltenders, namely Martin Brodeur. And, you know, from there on, I've always tried to catch every All-Star game and All-Star skills competition. Those are things that I still love, even when I wasn't collecting. But when 2020 came around and the pandemic hit, we had a lot of time to sit back and think about what we're doing in the hobby. And while I really loved my Alex Rodriguez collection, I was kind of burned out on it. And I found my way back to 90s inserts via the hockey world, thanks to Batnob Cursive on Instagram and Amish Dave Archer on YouTube, a couple of friends of mine. So I kind of got back into it like that. Some of you have seen those hockey videos on my Essential Credentials channel, but I wanted to create a channel dedicated to goaltenders, dedicated to hockey. And you will see only goaltenders and one skater, and that one skater is this man right here. That is Alex Burrows. I have the same last name as him. My dad and I loved watching him play when he was in Vancouver, so he will be the exception on this channel. So let's start off with using cards, my collecting journey and where my love for the hobby and goaltending is at right now. My very first goaltender and favorite team growing up was the Pittsburgh Penguins, namely this goaltender right here. This is Tom Barrasso. There's a gentleman on Instagram who is, I believe, Tom Barrasso Master Collector, who basically showed me that I'm not worthy when I started picking up his cards, but I love looking at his collection and his passion for hockey, and so I've decided to keep a few of them. So this is where it all started for me in hockey. And, you know, going through, I remember my dad buying me a rookie card of a goaltender, and it was a Pinnacle rookie card. He was on the Nordiques, whose jerseys I loved. And I'm sure, as you can guess by this background, it was this man right here, Jocelyn Thibault. I was able to find a card of Thibault that represents some of my favorite things about goaltenders. And first of all, it's the colors that they put on their masks and how they, you know, match with their jersey. We call that the setup. And I also really like goaltenders who wear this plastic dangler down here. For me, it kind of adds an extra artistic element to their, you know, their uniform and the pictures, especially because it can be flying all over the place depending on what kind of save they're making. But this card was used to actually inspire that picture back there. But loved collecting him in the 90s, and I'm very, very excited that he is my main player PC currently. So fast forward into college. I'm, you know, obviously big into baseball, but I still love the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they were able to win their first cup. And I remember this card being very, very popular because it came from the cup. And this is my current, well, was on the Penguins, my current favorite goaltender. And I mean, that is just a gorgeous card design. That's one thing that I've learned is Upper Deck. They have a few cards that still really stand out. And this, and the cup, some of the releases from the cup are certainly in that category. So that kind of sets you up from where I left off once college hit. College comes, it goes. I get into 90s inserts now. My, you know, complete adulting life, well, almost complete. I still collect cards, so that's always good. But after that, you know, I really didn't pay much attention to hockey, although I did pick up a card here and there. So when the pandemic hit, I decided, I need to really get back into collecting, and I really collected a lot of Jocelyn Thibault. I'm going to show off top 25 pickups of this year of his cards, so I don't want to show any more of those yet. But I was able to find a lot of really cool 90s inserts, see how they compare to baseball, and also pick up a couple other cards that really represent my love for hockey, and which is really cool. This was one of the first ones I was able to get. I did want to show this one because it's a dual on-card auto of my two of my three favorite Penguin goalies on the same card, because Thibault did play for the Penguins, which was a nice bonus, as well as finding a card that's got an on-card autograph of Tom Barrasso and Marc-Andre Fleury. I know my dad was quite excited about this one, so was I. So I just started kind of plucking away some cards slowly but surely, and then of course, once you find most of the cards of one player, this guy right here, you kind of take a break and I'll say, okay, well, I'll focus on, my favorite current baseball player. And once the season ended, I really got motivated to, look for cards of my favorite goalie that plays now, and also find a set or make a goal for myself, because I think a lot of us are goal-oriented collectors. And so to start, my favorite current goalie in the NHL, plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course, is Tristan Jarry. Just signed a new contract. The Penguins are giving the team #1 duties to him, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. He had a fabulous Game 4 where he almost matched Carey Price in his performance. So really excited to see what he can do in his first full year in the NHL. And again, as I mentioned, I will keep looking for a few cards of this guy right here. He doesn't have very much out there, but it's always nice to find Alex Burrows cards. They are few and far between. So, as I mentioned, I wanted to have a goal for this year, and I attacked that goal a little bit too ferociously, but I'm quite happy with where it's at, and I'll be updating you on that set progress, as there are multiple types of cards to pick up. So I wanted to show a few of my favorites that I've picked up and why I decided to collect this set. Something I think would be a lot of fun is to highlight goalies every week, like a goalie of the week, and use their rookie cards to do so. And the Upper Deck Young Guns cards have really, really fascinated me with the way that they've maintained value despite a high print run, and also how desirable they are. A lot of people I talk to collect hockey say when you want a rookie of a player, you automatically go for their Young Guns. And so that right there puts them in a unique place as compared to the rest of the sports collecting world. So I decided, you know what, let's put together the master set. Every single goalie Young Guns that was made. Just the base. Not the exclusives, not the canvas. Those will just kind of come when they're able to show up for the right price. That's not something I plan on overpaying for, and not something I plan on completing. If the day comes that I go for the canvas, maybe I'll do that, but right now I'm looking at finishing up the Young Guns base set, and I will have a video updating you with where I am at on that if you find yourself so inclined to check in. So the very first Young Guns that I picked up that was at more than a few dollars, because they all are at least $4 or $5, whether it's from Canada or America, was Carter Hart. And he is just a fantastic young talent for the Philadelphia Flyers. Now you might ask, as a Penguins fan, how can you root for this guy? It's when you're collecting goalies, you can root for more than just the team. And I root for Carter Hart just because he is again, a really, really phenomenal talent. A great person as well. He takes time for the youth, even at a young age, and he played for the Everett team, which is where I originally grew up before I moved to Alaska. So I thought that was really, really neat. So I've been able to track down Carter Hart. I was also able to track down my dad's favorite goalie in the NHL. His favorite team is Tampa. And, of course, Vasilevsky won a cup, had a shutout in the clinching game. Really excited to be able to find this for a decent price, because I think that card is only going to get more expensive. one of my favorite young goalies in the NHL right now. Plays for the Rangers. His name is Igor Shesterkin. Gotta love the dangler too. What's up? And Henrik Lundqvist is gone. So the team is going to be his and Georgiev's. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that tandem plays out this year. As long as they're not playing the Penguins, right? And this is probably my biggest bounce back candidate of the year, especially as a player and the card, and that's Jordan Binnington. This is a pretty cheap pickup as compared to where this card was after last year's Stanley Cup. So really looking forward to seeing if he can bounce back. It's a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder and who's very, very talented. So hopefully that will happen for him. And the last three I will show, I think this one is a big one too, is Samsonov. He plays for Washington, who, of course, I don't like this team at all as far as when the Penguins are playing them, but I'm always fascinated in just the young talent that a team has. And if somebody's good enough to have Braden Holtby lead the team, they must have some serious talent. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do this season in the NHL. And the final two I'm going to show are from the same set, and these are two goalies that I've had a lot of fun learning more about. That is Tuukka Rask, one of the best goalies in the NHL still. And also, of course, the last card I want to show, Carey Price. And I need to give Dave Rowe a shout out. Super nice guy. I met him after getting in touch with him on eBay, got a hold of him through Instagram, and we had a lovely conversation about where this card came from. And lo and behold, he pulled this from a single pack, kept it in storage for many, many years, and then he decided to sell it. And I was the person that bought it. So yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to have this in my collection and to get it from the original owner as well. So again, thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it. This card's going to stay here forever, man, as long as I can. So anyways, that is a bit of an introduction. That's where I'm at. That's what you can expect on this channel. Again, thank you for all the support going into this before the channel was created. If you'd like to know more about the artists that you see behind the cards, these are both done by Michael Rash, and he is Puckheads, PUK_HEADZ on Instagram. Fantastic artist. Did an amazing piece for my dad, my stepdad, for Father's Day, and also made an extra one of these for my dad in Washington, who got me into hockey. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and look forward to video number 1, official video number 1, at the beginning of the week.